day. Every time Dick and Harry got something to say. But what they said ain't got no fabric to it. Ye takes the thoughts with dice right through it. It's all about rumors and people feuding. If we're not uplifting, then what we doing? Yeah, they love the culture, yet they trying to wreck it. But are we ready to go hard to protect it? If we don't stand firm, then we're sure to fall. Are you ready to fight the stain and accept the call? Or it's all about dealerships and the mall. Now I'm ready to go for broke like Apostle Paul. I'm charged with the task to keep it real. Moving straight forward, not about to yield. Tackling every subject, yeah, you know the drill. R.I.P. Guru, I bring that mass appeal. Our ancestors stood tall despite abuse. We got all the tools, so what's our excuse? It's time to show a face and take off the mask. It's something every yay, it's the podcast. 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 What it do, what it do, what it do. Welcome to another episode. Episode 20. Episode dub. Episode score. You know, in the Bible, 20 years and score. The 20th episode. Technically 20. It's really a few more. I've done other things, but technically the 20th episode. Welcome again. Once again, I'm your host, Danye Jones. We are here again. It's voting day. By the time this airs, we hopefully would have gotten our president. Hope the right one. Because, you know, it's going to be some BS in the game. I just feel it. So I don't think we're going to really get it. But hopefully by the time this air, we will have a president. And look, and it's raining hard too. So hopefully you don't hear the rain. But if you do, God just sprinkling the grass. But as always, we can get a few little housekeeping things in order. You know, go to my YouTube channel. You can go to Danye F. Jones. The F is key. You also can go, it's a lot of writing though. You got to put in like this. It's some every yay podcast. But I think the Danye F. Jones is easier. You'll see the little orange icon like you see at the top right. You can jump right on in it. Also, you can follow me on IG, Coach_Jones32 or Decola_32. Yeah, we have this is a special show. This is my first in-studio guest interview. If you've been watching me, you know, all my stuff been online, you know what I'm saying? So this is the first in-student, did I say in-student? Yeah, in-studio. Teachers say student, like, you know how that go. But first in studio. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started as I bring in my guest. Come on in. This is my first in-studio guest. This is Miss LaWanda Jones. How you doing today, my sister?
I'm doing all right.
Yes. How was your commute? You getting here today?
It was good.
Really?
It was easy to find.
Really? How far did you have to come?
Just turn around.
Just turn around. Okay. Now, Miss LaWanda Jones, she is I'm going to tell you, we're going to go through her whole story first today. Why I have her on. You know, I'm always promoting business, people who write books, people who have businesses, and we have another entrepreneur here, but we're going to start from the genesis. Start from the beginning. So, Miss LaWanda Jones, where were you born and raised?
Born at Ingalls Memorial Hospital in Harvey, Illinois, and reared in the south suburbs of Chicago, Markham, Illinois.
Okay. Any siblings?
Yes, I have a sister, Anitra Davis Fleming, and a brother, David Davis.
Okay. So, let me ask you this. Tell me something about your upbringing in terms of with your parents and your siblings.
Traditional, I guess some people may call it upbringing. I had one mother, one father, and pretty much middle class upbringing. My dad was from the South. Met my mom when they migrated to the North.
From where? Migrated from where in the South?
From Shaw, Mississippi.
Okay. Shout out to Mississippi.
And met my mother from Chicago. And the two of them joined and had myself. I'm the oldest of three, and we grew up in Markham. Both my parents were teachers. Uh, Initially, my dad was one of the first Black teachers at Thornwood High School, and I believe he was at pretty much all the Thorns at one time, and then later he moved to college level, and then my mother was elementary school, started right there, Canterbury School in Markham.
Okay, Canterbury, which is now, is it still called Canterbury?
No, I believe it is a STEM school now in Markham.
Okay, awesome. Okay, now we'll jump into that later. Okay, so obviously come through traditional, so to speak, family, go in, then obviously graduate from high school. I'm assuming, yes.
Tinley Park High School in Tinley Park.
Tinley Park, and then you end up going to college. And what college did you attend?
Well, actually, also not only though in elementary school there in Markham, where my mom was a teacher, I attended there kindergarten through first grade, and then went to First Lutheran School in Blue Island. Then met everybody back up in high school, Tinley Park High School. Graduated, and then I attended Grambling State University.
Grambling State University, the place where everybody,
where I met somebody.
Is somebody. You probably met somebody great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Grambling. Okay. So your undergrad degree was in what?
As a recreation therapist. So therapeutic recreation specialist was my undergraduate degree.
Okay, explain them. Okay, because recreational therapist. What exactly is a recreational therapist?
Well, basically, recreation therapy, unlike physical therapy and occupational therapy, we see everybody till the end of life. We use different things, even in community. We do community reintegration to bring about change in individual lives. So, for example, if I have a patient, they don't want to go to therapy or physical therapy, stubborn, they don't know, they don't realize. So they bring me in sometimes to assess the patient. For example, say they have pets at home. I can talk to the family, maybe let them bring their pet in. And therapists, like physical therapy, they only deal with just physical. Occupational therapy, they only deal with daily living tasks. But I deal with everything. So I would bring that pet in and talk to them, and you'd be surprised, someone that may had a knee replacement, those types of things. I'd be like, okay, so let's go and let's walk them. You want to walk them? They'd be so overjoyed and happy just to see their pet. And then I go right past therapy, waving and they like, oh my goodness, look, LaMonda got them to walk. And then they are able to chart that they walk like 100 feet, 200 feet, et cetera, those things. But they don't realize what they're doing physically. They just happy, overjoyed, they're able to see their pet and just to walk their pet.
But they're actually getting a benefit physically.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a thing now in terms of pets. I don't think it was a thing then, but it's a thing now where that pets are used in that setting a lot now. It's like a real thing.
Yeah, they use pets now even for students at the college level and even children. They call them emotional support animals and those types of things. So even at that point, when I was at the hospital, which is so neat because the hospital, I remember where I was born, which was at Ingalls and Harvey. I remember when I was a little girl telling my mom I'm going to work there one day. And sure enough, I ended up working there. And we used to have pet therapy visits, and the Humane Society would come in and bring pets and those types of things once a week for patients.
Okay. So you're working in the hospital setting. You decide to go ahead and get your master's degree. Now, your master's degree is in what field?
In education and health and physical education.
Okay. Now, what brought about that? Did you always intend to get your master's, or what spearheaded that?
I met this guy and we got married, and I remember
nice guy, I bet. Awesome guy, I bet.
The hospitals never closed. So I just remember leaving my baby and him, the day after Thanksgiving or before and the holidays and those types of things. And when I decided I wanted to have children, I said, you know what, let me get into education, but let me get my master's. And that is how that kind of came into play.
Okay, so you get your master's, you was pretty much hired almost immediately.
Yeah, right after I finished my master's, I believe my daughter turned 2. Right when she turned 2, I got hired at the university, and so that would have been about 23 years ago.
So what university is that?
At Northeastern Illinois University.
Was that like, that'd be like North?
5500
North Chicago. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so what courses were you teaching there?
I taught everything from folk dance, round square, weight training, health, um, aging, death, and dying, adapted physical education. I did supervision for other physical educators in the field. Um, so a little bit of everything.
So let me ask you this: this class is all interesting. The death and dying course. What is the objective for that course? Like, what's the rationale for that course?
Well, like I said, as a recreation therapist, that was something that I saw individuals till death. So, in the field of health, we want individuals to know the beginning stages of human growth development all the way up until death. So, for example, even in my health of her effective living class, I had my students plan their funerals. So those types of things. And aging.
Hold on. Okay, that's interesting. They plan their funeral. Now, would you mean to what level? Obviously, it was a project they had to do. So, what were some things they had to do to actually plan their funeral?
Well, the different parts of it was, of course, first their living will, so end of life options, so that they will understand that the process of funeral planning isn't when a person is deceased. It happens before that. And you want to make your wishes known to someone so that they know what you would, want to be done. And we experienced that ourselves,
yes,
personally. So, if an individual wants not to be resuscitated, and everybody needs to know, once you're actually admitted into a hospital, as long as you are alert and oriented to ×3, they will ask you, do you have a living will? So that part will be taken care of. But people need to know, for the part of if you are rushed to the emergency room and you can't speak for yourself, so that someone knows that this person is not to be resuscitated, or this person, yes, is to be resuscitated, etc.
So people were saying, basically, get your house in order.
But that's just one part of it. And then, of course, they to do their actual will that occurs after death. I actually have them do an obituary. Usually someone else writes your obituary, but I ask my students, if you want some, what do you want people just to remember about you? What do you want people to know about that dash between your birthday and your death date? So they do that part, and then of course the actual funeral and how much it's going to cost.
Even the order of service and all of that?
Some people are they have the whole thing and they do that as well. Some individuals, it's difficult, for them to do. But also for them to understand, well, how much is this going to cost and who's going to pay for it? If you're not alive to pay, who pays? So for them to understand that there's a process, and in the aging, death, and dying, we see the process among the different cultures. That's why I really like that course. At Northeastern.
That's awesome. And just a little side note, the person who goes to the hospital and have the hospital release the body, legally, you are responsible for their burial.
And it will go on your credit report.
Yes. If you the one that released, just thought that I know, because I had a lot of different family. I see some stuff. All right. So, okay. So you're teaching there. You said 20 years, whatever. Now, at some point, obviously, you've been a wife, a mother, those things. What come to you in terms of starting a business? Was this something that you always wanted to do? Any kind of business in terms of the entrepreneurial piece? Was that something you always wanted to do?
Well, yes, that is something that I always wanted to do. Um, so you got to think also, we owned property. That was a big thing that I enjoy doing very much so. And we, rent homes and those types of things. So that was something that I could do.
But start. But where did that come from?
It came from my dad. It came from my dad. My dad had literally a plan for the family and those types of things in which, oh wow, yeah, that's daddy. So, in terms of when he bought the properties, and you got to think that if you're teachers, automatically you're not going to automatically just be a millionaire, you know. So his plan really, yes, was about us as a family, and we did it together as a family. I mean, literally, I can remember painting the wall, and I'm like, Dad, I can't paint. He said, well, hold your hand up. He hit the paintbrush. That's how high you paint. So, those types of things that we did together as a family when he embarked on. And that was a sacrifice, I would say, that he and my mom did, because they could have moved out of Markham, but they chose to stay and have other properties. And those properties help support us as we definitely entered into college and et cetera.
Okay. So.
Oh, and Dad also, when he was younger, as a little girl, I remember at Canterbury Shopping Center. And at Canterbury Shopping Center, he also owned a business called Turnstiles. So today it would be equivalent to a kiosk type thing. So he did that, and actually he had his nieces and nephews, and those are the individuals that worked for him with Turnstiles. Those types, because they used to always tease and say, "Your daddy tight, with money and those types of things as far as the pay." That's how that came from.
Okay, so we talking about your entrepreneur, so I know we're getting dive so much in the property that you own, but in terms of your business now, what is your business now?
My business is called Love Jones Legacy, and I am a reseller, and I also am a virtual dispensary owner.
Okay, let's start first with the with the thrifting piece, because I heard people say, "Well, I'm a thrifter." When you hear someone says that, they think you're just someone who are counting, watching your pennies, just for the average. But a thrifter in your arena exactly means what?
Well, it is in a reseller, so I can take different items, and I sell pre-love items. I call them. Those are items that maybe someone else was the owner originally who bought it new, and then I can then resell it. Okay, and there's value in it. I would say I also sell the new items in which you get from like a wholesaler and those types of things. People, when I go to the place to get different items, I sell sheet. They were like, "Oh, it's the sheet girl," so things like that. And of course, those items are new.
Okay, so let me ask you this here. So they're new, even your new items.
So, for example, my sheets, regular price, I want to say on Amazon, I like $40, $50. And my price for king size sheets is $25.
Okay, that's what I was saying. That's the one. I said, even though it's new, are you still? But so,
and that still is a good price, and I make profit off of that.
Right. Okay, so in terms of, we'll get into that too. But in terms of shipping, how do you?
Well, you pay Amazon shipping.
Right. So how do you determine the shipping cost?
Oh, the shipping cost is weighed. So of course it's by weight and location of where it's going. Okay. And that is not me just making something up. It's U.S. shipping. Okay. U.S. Postal does that. I just weigh it and I measure it, and then I put it in the program, and it says how much, and then that's it, and that's how I charge shipping.
Okay, yeah, because we hear thrifting, just the term thrifting, people automatically assume they're thinking like Goodwill, they're thinking like rummage sale, but your items are boutique style looking items.
Absolutely. So, for example, this is a thrifted item, but it actually is a new item that came from a boutique, and it was a sale item. So if it's new and they can't move it, and that's another blessing that when you know other people who own boutiques, then they cut their cost, their price, and they cut their price, and then I can get it, and then I can still make a profit off of even those items.
Okay, so and obviously you let your buyers know
what is new and what is right.
Or as you call it, pre-loved.
Yes. So usually the items posted, if it's new, they'll say, and it's like a thrifted thing, they'll say they're new with tags, because some things actually have the tag still on it. You know, people who are into vintage, if it's something called dead stock, that means this was a vintage item that has never been sold and it still has the tags on it.
Okay.
So that's like something that they call like dead stock. Or if it is new, for example, like our daughter, I used to hate it though, but she literally, because she's this athlete, and she cut her tags out of the. Yeah. So it's something she never even wore. They're new, so it'd be like new without the tag. And then I would tell them it's not tagged, but it is a size, whatever, you know.
Okay, so the business itself is called Love Jones Legacy.
Correct.
So, is there any story behind that name that you chose?
Yes.
Do tell.
Well, of course, my last name is Jones through marriage. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then legacy actually came from a term because my dad years ago started a investment club, which was the Heritage Club. So I just put that on there because he always was about know your heritage of where you come from and those types of things he was really big on. And so my charge then now is not just to know the history of that, but then now what is to come, which is who you leaving it to. So I am that legacy, and then I'm going to turn that, and then that will be for our child.
Okay. So when you first started selling, how did you get into, because obviously you first started selling online, what via Facebook?
Well, no, not exactly.
Okay.
Well, always, and I was always selling something.
Yes.
All the time.
Right.
Before that. So really, I was that person. Y'all know back in the day when your mom used to do Tupperware and parties. So I witnessed that through my mom.
Okay.
And so, I always knew, again, since we both are teachers, our parents were teachers, I knew that, you have to be able to invest in those types of things as well. So I always would, other companies, different things. I was big on the health things. And so I was that person too. Everybody used to know around this time before Christmas, you come into my house. I have vendors all throughout the house, all different types of things, purse parties, jewelry party, whatever it was selling, I would do it. I did that. So it was nothing new to me because thrifting was already my lifestyle through my mother and her best friend, which name was Lawanda.
Okay. So with your thrifted items now though, we're gonna step because you're taking that to another level. But initially, you selling on the platform you were selling on was on Facebook. How did that start? And I've but through because I know you do on different platforms on Facebook. How did that?
So I just believe everything comes together for a reason and time. So, I always, like I said, the lifestyle was thrifted. Our daughter who was an elite gymnast and those types of things, people want to know how we do that, how we pay for them fees. I I didn't fad shop, but I planned the fad shop because I knew one day she wanted those designer brands and those types of things. So when she would like practice, I would go thrift. And then I would clean her clothes up, put them on her bed, and she never even knew, you know. So thrifting first was just a lifestyle. So one day, one of the mothers at our church uh, came to me and said, "Oh, my daughter, she really like you," and and all this different things or whatever. And I said, "Oh, all right," And then when I met her daughter, she was just adorable. Now she was someone into vintage, and her name is Tanaz Mostly Wanted. And she's younger than I am. Now, when I mean younger, she's like with my brother. I'm the oldest in my family, and my brother is like 10 years, 11 years behind me. So she's with him in age. And I remember, talking to her, and then I, met her and went over to her house one day, and she had things in, at that time was her garage. And she said, what I always want a thrift store. And I was like, oh, all right. I was sort of just helping, doing, whatever. And then my job started kind of failing. Okay. So then my daughter now at this time was in undergrad. And she had like maybe one more year left. So I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And it was her, Miss Mostly Wanted, said, what you need to do is purge.
And what exactly does that mean?
Exactly. That's how I was like, what are you talking about? I got these bills, I got this girl, how you be so. And she told me, what she did. And I said, really? And how do I do it then? How do I would help her, but I never knew, that I was just doing just because I love to just helping. But she then made me understand, even though the lifestyle that I led by thrifting, like the woman in the Word of God, she took what she had, and that did it. And that's exactly what I did, starting with the shoes that my mother left. They were in the basement. And I got some of those things because I love shoes, so I wanted like a shoe store. So that is initially how I started. It was through her, and she showed me through Facebook doing live sales that would do it, and I didn't have to do these things, hosting parties and those types of things.
Okay, that's the piece there. So when you're doing it live, so how were people coming on live purchasing? I mean, how did that, just trying to explain for those who don't understand how you were doing that.
So once I got used to, I knew I could do it because I lectured, but I didn't know what I would look like on camera. I mean, I can remember even, you tell me,
Relax. Just offering my 2 cents.
Get it together,
So listen, but that's something else. Go ahead.
So I had to kind of get that together. But for me, the hard part, I think, too, was the technology piece.
Okay.
I had to learn how to get on for myself on my end. Individuals just go straight to the page live and they tune in.
So are they bidding on either, or you tell what a price is?
Well, yeah, like I would say, oh, I have this coffee mug, okay, and it's this, and the cost of it is going to be $15. And then someone would put sold, and I would give a number, and they would put sold 15.
And obviously, you had to have some type of device that will record the.
Well, the old school people, and I met some old school people before the device was, which is called the bot.
Okay.
It will record like a whole script of that, in which then we be able to know who we give our invoices to. Individuals submit their email zip codes, so we would send the invoice for them to pay through their email.
Okay, so let's say you're going to do a live at 7, but let's say someone gets off work at 10. Can they rewatch the live?
Yeah, absolutely. So in some lives, they say that there is no replay, but some they say you're welcome to shop the replay. And then they also will give instructions as far as how you go about shopping their replay.
Okay, so thrifting, so you might be having just about a lot of brand new items almost for like under what $10. So what is the maximum of anything that you may, whether it's shoes or?
Well, right now I actually have some suits that are brand new with tags, regular price $299, and I believe I'm asking for like $80,
okay,
or something like that. I have things. Remember, True Religion? They had like all those jeans and those types of things. I think eBay. And you got to remember, I am competing with them.
Yeah.
So I'm able though. Through working with individuals in my community, nonprofits, those types of things, to cut them out.
Okay.
In my prices, and also because I don't have the overhead. I don't have to pay anyone rent. I pay myself rent. So those types of things.
Okay. Then after you're doing that for a while, you jumped into, let me go here. I'm just try to explain this, and we'll go to it. What exactly is this?
The Parsimonial. Okay, so that's my website. He was like, oh goodness, I finally found my people. So I did try a website before, and I just could not connect and get people to move to the website because people will automatically know me for doing lives. Okay. So again, as my job continued to fail, I was like, I really got to get my website going, because if I start back teaching in the classroom, which that's what I'm doing now, I need a place for everybody to go to, and all the invoice, everything can be done, and all I have to do then is ship.
Okay. Before I go forward with that, I like my listeners to be fully informed. You mentioned twice your job was failing. I know you was an instructor at a university. When you said failing, are you speaking of down enrollment?
Yeah. So, at one time I did think that I would go back and get my doctoral, but I just never did as far as at the collegiate level. Nobody was very happy. And at that level, it doesn't end. That was one thing, if I got it, I want it to end, so I really like to me, the bread and butter of at the university level was the incoming freshman. Incoming freshman, I had undergrad. My classes always filled, no problem. And also Northeastern had different satellites, in which I love the Southside campus, which is the Carruthers building, the Center for Inner City Studies, and that's where I initially met Dr. Worrell, and those real old school mentors. And when I mean like Dr. Worrell, I got to say his name because when I tell you how he made me feel welcome, and he was on the level, like, again, like Jesse Jackson Jr.,
Yeah.
He's in that. He was in that area.
Well, we got to break that down. So the satellite, I know they try to satellite for different areas. The inner city study spot on the south side of Chicago, would that be, is that the Bronzeville area, or what would that be considered? I know it's on the cusp, but it's still going a little more east. So it's not necessarily, it's Bronzeville, but it's not. I remember where exactly it is. Well, basically what I'm saying, it's serving our community because it's set up in our community. So as if they have one now that's serving, different ethnicities. So,
and one thing that I loved about it also was how I came about the position at Northeastern was because it was another Black woman. And today, hopefully, we will give birth to the first Black woman president. So, and it was her charge upon her to bring in another before she retired. Okay. And that other was me.
Okay. I didn't even get off on the school part, but no, when you kept saying your job was failing, I wanted to understand.
And again, failing meaning the lack of enrollment.
Yeah. Now, did the pandemic have any effect on that?
COVID had a part to do with it. And to me, just difference in programming, the revolving door of our president. Once that one president left out, we didn't get support for another that we put in there. And again, I just feel that in health PE, we need to make sure that we are standing and making a stand for health and physical education for our children. And not only that, not making things so top heavy, meaning administration type health.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need them, don't get me wrong, but we need therapists. We need, in all the different areas. In mental health,
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
as a recreation therapist, I had to assess individuals in that setting. So we need those individuals in place to do
Yes.
the work. So that was the thing, was also programming.
Okay. Yeah, see, I had to make sure I get all aspects of what she does, so, but we're going to jump in because we talk about the, how you pronounce it again? The
Parsimony.
parsimony. I'm going to try to go here.
And the part in my website is a one that is connected to the Parsimonial Boutique Mall. So he's gonna pull it up.
If I even see it here. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. I'm gonna pull it back up. Pull it back up in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. What you were saying?
So the Parsimonial, I am now in one of the first, I can believe, virtual malls. So, like how you can go to the mall when we regularly used to go to the mall, you can literally now go to the mall virtually.
Okay, now how does that work?
So you go to my website.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay, so you go to my website, and then you'll see my item. But not only will you see my items in my store, you'll have the opportunity to see other items in other stores, and you can shop at those stores as well.
Okay, so I'm struggling pulling it up. Okay, here we go. Let me.
Oh, and there it is.
Let me go back. Okay, let me present my screen. Technology is great, especially when it works. Okay, okay, okay. Share. Here we go. Okay.
All right. Yep. So there you go. And that is the Parsimonial. And please, everybody, please go to the Parsimonial Mall and leave a review. I would appreciate it so much. We are branching out. So not only am I just virtually in the mall, but now on YouTube. And we have one of our sisters who also just started with TikTok. So the Parsimonial Mall is on TikTok. It's on, you can go through YouTube. You'll see us as well. Please share, and
first,
and give a review.
They got to learn how to navigate this.
Okay,
so if I go to the website now and say I want to look at dresses, so I click on dresses.
Okay, but you can pull it up.
Yep, I am. Okay, so
women dresses. So there you go. You see Love Jones Legacy. Those are all my items.
Okay, so Love Jones Legacy. If I'm a person from you, those are all your items.
Correct.
And they have different
and
groups.
Then you can see some other ones there from some of the other businesses in the mall. But most of those you see there, those are my items. Okay. New and also some pre-loved.
Okay. What is this here? What is this here?
That's another mall person.
Oh, okay. I see you have some of these here too. What are those kimonos? What they call?
Yeah. Caftans.
Okay. And what? This is only $7?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I ain't like I'm gonna try to buy it.
But that one's a pre-loved one though.
Okay.
So you can see that.
And what about shoes?
Absolutely. So definitely, because like I told you, I started with shoes. So yes, shoes. I have shoes.
Okay, so let's go down here. So
and there you go.
Okay, you have shoes.
Some of the shoes that you can see new, and then some of them are pre-loved.
Okay, do you have any men items?
That has been a question, I know, especially with that month. I've been trying to get. I will say this, because originally, like I said, I am one of those true thrifters. Wrinkled everything. You know, that's what some people like. It's your business. You shouldn't have things that wrinkle. You know, but hey, I got stuff, and I'm busy too.
Well, I see here. I see. I like the Detroit baseball cap.
Yeah. So I have some caps. I do have some men's shades. So those items. Men usually, I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to thrift men because usually they wear it all the way out. Okay. So that is something in the future I'm thinking about, is to get involved in and find a good men's vendor.
Okay, so I see you have earrings,
but
purses.
Those things then will be new.
Okay, so let me get out of here a minute here.
You got to go to more, and then you got to go to
Okay, so
beauty.
Okay, so back here, so
wellness.
Yes, yeah, you're right. I got you. So when you go to this spot, how much has this replaced you doing lives?
I do lives. However, it's about time, you know, and enjoying time. Definitely in the beginning when I first started, I was always on my phone, always on my phone, always on my phone, always, you know. So it kind of helped loosen that up as well. Lives. Lives still are good. I do enjoy lives. I love lives, especially when, like you said, the technology works.
Yes.
And everything comes together. And that also individuals able to actually see me. Okay. My actual me.
So it's more of a relationship type thing.
Correct. Okay. You know, website, sometimes you don't know who it is, you know. But at least through the lives, they're able to actually see you and those types of things, and actually talk to you face to face, you know, virtually, but you know,
the interaction.
Absolutely.
Okay, so also here, excuse me, on the wellness piece, you've spoken on a lot of different types of wellness. So you are a virtual dispensary owner. What is a virtual dispensary owner?
Well, I'm in partnership with a company in which through my website, you're able to purchase different items in the dispensary. So, like individuals, you know, who have medical cards and those types of things, you know, all you need to do is to be 21. The company that I am joined with, it is legal all 50 states. It is, and in some countries. So, and since I have been a health professor for over 23 years, I am definitely able to answer questions and those types of things as well.
Okay. So here's my thing. So on the wellness piece, I'm just trying to navigate to it with this. So some of these things are in terms of good, in terms of people looking at for pain. So you have like CBD products.
I do. I have the full spectrum of a actual dispensary that you will walk in. So from diet products, you're just not into. You're not
right.
on somebody else.
No, I know that. I got you.
It's a diet.
I'm trying to show folks how to navigate this thing.
I know. I'm into the mushroom coffee, like they have on regular TV that they be promoting. People go to different stores to get that. You can get a mushroom coffee from me. So not everything has CBD or THC. Some things are stable, like mushroom coffee.
So to buy, let's say if a doctor recommended a pain balm, would they have to have a medical card to get that? No. Okay, that's what I was curious about.
So you would click.
Yeah, that wasn't one. That was just an actual picture. Oh. That was an actual picture because I don't know if I can navigate it. But when you go to the site, people, I'm just here struggling. And I don't want to waste time struggling. But this is the site. And I know you go to the wellness piece. That's where you would get to the dispensary piece. And now you talk about a lot of with the wellness, because obviously the company, what is it? Is it Canaglow?
Yes, and actually, I kind of came about it. At one time, I was kind of torn. There's a lot of people who are really just ignorant about it. And really, that's one of the things I would like to do is decrease, and we have that saying also the stigma around it. So I don't make any excuses, or I'm not ashamed about it or anything in any way. One of the things that I thought about, like I told you, I was thinking about getting my doctoral, is when I came into uh, conversation with someone who's a naturopathic doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So usually people don't even see them. All right. But when my dad, who was the first person in our family really to have, cancer, and he had colon cancer. And when they brought naturopathic doctors on the scene, it was interesting of the things that they were doing. Some of the things that they are doing is what we've already started seeing happen with people doing like NutriBullets, blends, juicing, those types of things. So what they do is they test you, draw blood, see what your body's deficient in, and then they put it back in. And they did that to do what? To help fight some of the other drugs that they pumping in. You know, with my mom, with my dad's oncologist, she was like, "Oh, we can kill the cancer, but what we don't want to do, we can't want to kill him too at the same time." So that was something that naturopathic doctors came on the scene and did. And so the individuals also through CBD, through THC, and these types of things have certain benefits to us. And we need to stop being ignorant about that and really get the knowledge to have an understanding about that. Why are we letting our parents, elderly, be in pain, with osteopain and these types of things in pain? We need to get a little bit educated on it, know that we have a cannabinoid system and those types of things, and we can use these natural benefits.
Yeah, I think that was one of the issues the government had with Dr. Sebi, because if you're using a lot of natural things that God already created, then they can't make their money. Because obviously the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, and the doctors, they're basically all in bed together.
Right. And again, like I said, if Dad did not have that great insurance, I never would have met them to get a little bit of understanding about what they were doing. So that is, again, with the dispensary. And then I saw even now with his niece, individuals who say are smoking, they have things that look like cigarettes. They're not, and some of them have flavors and different things. So I gave her something so she can introduce. So she stopped smoking. Something that's a little bit more healthier, and it has benefits.
It doesn't contain THC.
And for her, who needs it, while she's having treatment on one end, because she's not able to eat, she's not intaking enough. It had only like a 0.03% of THC, which is something that she needed anyway.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's
why not stop smoking, get the benefit of that, whatever.
Well, cigarettes is it's the American way. We gonna make money, and then we gonna kill you. They gonna get some more money from you when you got to go through chemo and all the other things. I don't want to start with that, but that's because I've had a lot of cancer within my family, particularly with that mindset. So let me ask you this: in terms of the wellness piece, period. Why do you think? Let me see. If doctors know because most doctors do know these things are definitely healthier, and well, I know the answer, but I want to hear your take. Why won't they at least lean halfway to try to push you towards that way? I know they obviously want to sell the pharmaceutical companies there in bed with them, but
well, again, here in the U.S., we have to understand when people talk about our different ethnicities and cultures, we also have a U.S. culture that we are all a part of. So when we learn health, we learn something called traditional health. And that is what our doctors are taught.
Mm-hmm.
Our MDs are taught. Now we do have, again, other doctors that are naturopathic doctors, herbalists, those type. They specialize in different other areas, which sometimes we consider those things being non-traditional. Okay, so something that I like to do is, for example, when I tell people about my fat doctor, she's an individual who's trained two ways. Okay, in which then when who I thank God, my dad who did the genetic testing for colon cancer, what happens? I'm the oldest. I remember they said then we can take you too. We're gonna schedule you too. And they kept doing that. And they at one time never found nothing. Okay. But then when I had decided to remember that I wasn't going to do it, wasn't going to do the colonoscopy, I was going to wait till I turned 50.
Yeah.
And that was when I was 48. Every colon commercial came on. I was like, what is going on? Every time I go in the car, every time I turn the TV on when I come home, colon cancer. And then I went to work one day. My coworker said, I want you to do this colon cancer screening. When they came down, they said how they reduced the age to now age 45.
Yeah.
And I told him about my dad. He said, no, I know you're 40. You're going to go in and you're going to get it done one more time. And that was the time that they found polyps that I had turning cancerous. Mm-hmm. And then they said, had I waited till I turned 50, it would have been like similar to my dad.
Okay.
So when I did that and they were able to get that taken care of, once I did the colonoscopy and all of that, then I went to her, who was a naturopathic doctor, to help me with the next stage. And then I pit her against the traditional, my gastro, put them in tune with one another. Because once, remember when he did it and he did colonoscopy, he said, well, you're fine. And this is this. However, are you using? And he said, and I said, yeah, well, that's my fat doctor said this. He said, well, this is why it looks like, and I pit them and I went back and told her. And she said, really? And then she said, well, I'm going to get on this and this. And then I had them going back and forth. Okay. So that's what we need to start doing. We need to start being about our health. And that's another thing I promote on Love Jones Legacy. I know people have different things they, like brands and brand names and those things. It's not about the brand. It's about the quality.
Right.
And I am one of a kind, custom made quality. You never get one like me ever again.
Right.
So and that's how we have to be about that when it comes to our health.
Yeah, I'm huge on the health. I got to start doing better with mine in terms of the eating piece. But it's funny, people always say, well, I don't eat pork or I don't eat this. I say, well, it doesn't matter if you're not raising the hogs. You don't know what they're putting because they're shooting everything with stuff in it. So I'm going to tell you something again. Just as a physical educator, I've always stated, of course, math and reading are absolutely important. I think reading is more important than math. That's my personal. If you can't read, you're a problem. But I will say this though. But if those are the most important things, okay. If you don't take care of your health, you will get your reading when you're reading your medicine bottle. It takes this medicine 2 times, 4 times a day. There's your math. That means you got to take 8. So your health is definitely important.
Absolutely.
Well, okay. So we're going to close out. But what I want you to leave us with is this: in terms of people. There are some ladies, I guess guys too, but since you primarily sell to women, well, first let me say you do have plus size items as well, right?
Absolutely. Usually, I have from extra small all the way to 5X.
Right. I love that piece because, like I said, I know plus size women. Hey, we love you because we know you gonna go out. Forget all that. You want to be cute too. But no, but let me ask you this: for those women who feel, no, I won't thrift. I have to go and spend like what's your motto? Hold on, tell me what's your motto. You say you could buy more, would you say? But why?
I said, just because we can don't mean we should.
Okay.
Because, people now, with the knockoff purses, those types of things, like on the sites that I'm there, they don't want you to sell anything that's like a knockoff item, those types of things. But to me, when you can get a knockoff that looks the exact same, that lowers the value of something that's real and authentic.
Yes.
So to me, I don't.
You really don't mess with it.
Why everybody now trying to be high fashion. I know some people will be waiting at the, certain places to get those things. And don't get me wrong, I think that's fine if you're able to do that. Nothing wrong but when I could, and for me, at the time, take that money and I put my daughter in gymnastics. Mm-hmm. Take that money and I put her so she could model. Mm-hmm. Take that money and I put, and that's what we did. That's how I lived. That's how my parents did it. Yeah. They did that. They put us all through private school, and that was the sacrifice. And, they always say, old saying, it's a generation that has to plant the seed for the next generation to catch the shade. And I'm catching shade for that sacrifice that they did for me.
And let me tell you something. This is nothing to do with that, but what you just said, I want to say something. Parents who have children, get your children involved with things. People just assume I'm always talking about sports because I'm a coach. Yeah, if they want to play sports, have at it. But there are so many different activities because the more that, and I don't have a small sample size of this, but the more young ladies that are involved in extracurricular, the less likely they're going to get involved with BS. Now, some boys too, but sometimes boys will be playing another team and they'll still be gangbanging. Trust me, I know. But what I'm saying is because schools now, they will take a kid who have a 3.3 but have a lot of extracurricular stuff than a kid who has a 4.0 who haven't done nothing because they want a well-rounded student. So I think that's important. But listen to y'all. Shout out LaWanda Jones, our first in-studio guest. She was on time. I think she just had to walk across the hallway, but she was on time. And definitely, again, I'm going to show the website again. The website there, you go there and shop. And shop is a great thing you do.
The Parsimonial.
Yes. And any other ways they can follow you or whatever?
Yeah, I wish you would have put the.
Well, I can still do it. Just tell me.
Right there.
What?
Right there. Up.
Up this one?
Right there.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Let me take this off first. Let me take this off. All right. So that's Love Jones Legacy. And also see on Facebook, Love Jones Legacy, Instagram, Love Jones Legacy. She constantly posts items daily and whatever. So
and LaWanda Z Jones is my regular page.
LaWanda Z Jones. Z. What's that Z stand for? Zasakela. All right. Okay. All right. So hey, thanks again for y'all joining. Like I said, hopefully we have a president by the time this airs. Going to air on Thursday. So check me out on Thursday. I'm going to air this Friday. I'm going to have another Friday Fable. Continue to support. Cost you nothing. Just click subscribe. They got that bell. Listen, it costs you absolutely nothing. So I say, why not? Just go ahead and click that thing. But much love to you. Great job.
Thank you. And go and on YouTube. We're on YouTube, the Parsimonial Mall, virtual mall. And again, give me a review. Tell me what you think of the website. Okay. And let me know. Again, you can go to that wellness page. All right. The Parsimonial Beauty. I often post it. You'll see it posted on Love Jones Legacy and Love Jones, one word, Legacy, second word. Yeah, take a look. Let me know what you think.
Okay. And last, again, I ain't got to post up. Go ahead and subscribe to my boy, the MTAC More Than a Coach podcast with my man, Kevin Marshall. More Than a Coach podcast. He has a lot of great content. And also on Sunday nights, his wife and himself, the Mr. and Mrs. podcast on love, life, and relationships. They are hilarious, but they give a lot of great advice for couples, not just married couples too. So Kevin and Joya Marshall, my man Kevin Marshall, and we'll see you when we see you. Much love to y'all. Deuces. You trying to say deuce like I do deuces? All right, holla. things going on in the world today. Every time Dick and Harry got something to say, but what they said ain't got no fabric to it. Yeah, takes and thoughts with dice right through it. It's all about rumors and people feuding. If we're not uplifting, then what we doing? Yeah, they love the culture, yet they trying to wreck it. But are we ready to go hard to protect it? If we don't stand firm, then we're sure to fall. Are you ready to fight the stain and accept the call? Or it's all about dealerships and the mall? Now I'm ready to go for broke like Apostle Paul. I'm charged with the task to keep it real, moving straight forward, not about to yield. Tackling every subject, yeah, you know the drill. R.I.P. Guru, I bring that mass appeal. Our ancestors stood tall despite abuse. We got all the tools, so what's our excuse? It's time to show a face and take off the mask. It's something every day, it's the